The Fair Work Ombudsman is investigating the Church of Scientology over allegations it has grossly underpaid members of its staff. Lateline has spoken to a number of former members of the church who claimed they were paid only a few $1,000s a year to work full-time for the church and had to resort to welfare payments to survive. The former Scientologists believe that if the Ombudsman finds that the church owes them back pay to current and former staff members, it could bankrupt the church in Australia. Steve Kinane reports.
Jeanette Lang runs a website for parents raising children in Canberra. But the struggle of running a small business from home seems minor compared to her 7 years working for the Church of Scientology.
It was awful. It was trying to survive as a staff member was a constant battle.
A committed Scientologist in her 20s, Jeanette Lang worked her way up to second in charge of the church in Canberra. But her pay didn't reflect her position.
Some weeks it might be $20, other weeks $2. It would average around between $2,000 to $3,000 a year. So these are two of the group certificates from 2 of the years that I was there. So this one's from 1999, where I earned $740. And this was my big one, which is why I pulled this one out. This was in 2001, where I earned $3,114.
So that's the most you ever earned in a year?
That's right.
How do you survive on that?
You need to be on government benefits.
And that was commonplace within the Church of Scientology?
Absolutely.
The Church of Scientology denies any widespread use of welfare by its staff members. But Lateline has spoken to 7 ex-Scientologists who say they were on welfare while working full-time for the church. One former member says she and 6 other staff members were on the dole while working for Scientology in Melbourne in the 1990s. Paul Schofield is one of those who had to rely on other work and government payments to survive. He worked for various Scientology organisations for over 20 years.
I didn't even have enough money for petrol to get to work. I had no money for nappies for my daughter. I had no money for dog food, yet I was being harassed to come to work and keep working for nothing.
Tommy Davis is a spokesman for Scientology in the US. He told ABC's Four Corners earlier this year that staff are paid a living wage.
General church staff who, say, may work in a church, for example, in Sydney or Melbourne or Los Angeles or Cincinnati, wherever it may be, Europe and Asia, they would then have a living wage. In other words, those would be staff who would be making enough of a living to maintain a residence and raise a family and so on and so forth.
It's a total lie on his part, and he knows it.
Dean Detheridge was on staff for 17 years. He says he never earned more than $5,000 a year and rarely got holidays.
In the first 11 years when I was on a full-time schedule, I took 4 days off. They were 2 weekends. And that was difficult to get approval for.
It's these kind of allegations that are now being investigated by the Fair Work Ombudsman, prompted by the Four Corners program earlier this year.
I personally believe it could potentially bankrupt them.
Former Scientologists believe the investigation could lead to massive claims for back pay.
I think I'd be owed around $250,000.
I'm owed probably in the order of close to $750,000.
You'd be getting close to $1 million, presumably.
The Church of Scientology in Australia declined Lateline's requests for an interview. In a written statement, it said,
"We have previously passed inspections by the Workplace Ombudsman and we are not aware of any current breaches of the Fair Work Act or regulations. It would be improper to comment on any ongoing investigation until such time as it is completed. Our church staff are volunteers and understand this and are not helping for the purpose of financial gain."
But the former Scientologists Lateline spoke to deny the church's claim that all staff are volunteers.
When I wanted to leave at 2 a.m. with my 2 little girls, I was not given the choice to leave. I would beg to leave and still be told no. And there were consequences if you chose to go against what you were being told to do. These people are not volunteers.
Jeanette Lang says she didn't leave her job because she says staff members are threatened with separation from family if they quit their jobs without permission.
everybody you know that has anything to do with Scientology immediately must disconnect from you. Full disconnection. They are not allowed to speak to you. So yeah, there are big consequences.
Jeanette Lang has told her story to the Office of the Fair Work Ombudsman. Their investigation continues. Steve Kinane, Lateline.
Well, the Church of Scientology issued a statement which can be seen in full on our website, and late tonight I should say, they issued a second statement which can also be seen in full on our website.